What's going on? This is Kareem from DJBooth.net, and I'm here in the lab to give you guys a rundown video review of the brand new Native Instruments Komplete Kontrol S61 MK2 keyboard. As you notice, this is the second iteration of the Komplete Kontrol keyboards. We reviewed the original back about 3 years ago. It's been that long already. And now here we have the new updated versions that have a few new tricks up their sleeves and all of the things that made the original Komplete Kontrol keyboards great. So right off the bat, you guys can see that it's basically very similar in build quality. It no longer has that shiny metal surface on the top. It's like an all matte black type finish. It has a really sturdy design though, but it is mostly plastic with some metal reinforcements inside to give it a nice heavy sturdy feel and a nice sturdy weight to it. Also with the hardware, you guys will notice it has these two high-res full color screens. We'll get into these in a little bit. We'll show you many different things that you guys can see right on the screen. You can see all of your navigation, browse through all of your different instruments. You guys can browse through all of your different functions within your DAW or in the machine as well. So that way you guys are able to see all things like your mixers, your playbacks, your patterns, your scenes, and you're allowed to edit things on the fly using the controls right here on the Komplete Kontrol keyboards. This comes in the S49 edition, which is 49 keys, and this of course is the S61, which is the 61 key edition. The smaller version and the real huge 88 key only applies to the MK1 for now. Perhaps in the future they'll bring out MK2s of those iterations as well. But for now we have the S61, which is the biggest you can get with these high-res color screens at this time. And it also has more changes in the hardware from the original, such as the inclusion of these mod and pitch wheels. You know, before they had those sliders, and I guess some people performing would rather have their trusted, tried and true real wheels here with a nice weight to them, and they feel really good. These are nice keys. These are semi-weighted keys, just like with the original. They're very sensitive and touch sensitive, meaning when you play them lightly, the sounds will be lower, or they can be very loud when you really bang on the keys. And there's also a mode of velocity, so that way you can turn off that feature as needed. Again, they also have the touch capacitive knobs here, so that way when you touch these knobs, you'll be able to change different parameters for all of your sounds and different functions that are currently displayed on the screen. So we'll take a really quick dive into the new Komplete Kontrol S61 MK2 keyboard. We'll show you all the ins and outs and show you what this bad boy is all about. Okay, so first up, we're just going to take a quick look at the back of the Komplete Kontrol S61 MK2. They have a Kensington lock all the way to the left. Then you have your MIDI in, MIDI out, pedal A, pedal B, so that way you can articulate your sounds with pedals. You have your power, and you also have a USB port and your on and off switch. This is fully USB powered, by the way. You only need to use your power adapter when you feel it's a low light condition, but trust me, the USB power is bright enough even for your low light conditions. Alright, so here it is, the Komplete Kontrol S61 MK2 keyboard. They also have this in the S49 edition, which means you have the 49 keys instead of the 61. And right off the bat, these keys feel really nice to the touch. They have really nice weight to them. They are semi-weighted. They also have nice sensitivity, meaning they're velocity sensitive. So depending on how hard you strike these keys is how loud the sound will play. So if you play it very softly, you barely get any volume, but when you play the key very hard, you get a nice loud stern volume. They're nice and linear and very responsive. Above the keys, you guys can see we have a light guide system similar to what we had in the original Komplete keyboard line. They now slimmed them down a little bit, but they're nice and bright, and you can exactly see what's going on at any time with your keyboard. So if we want to use this in scale mode, so that way we don't play a wrong tune or a wrong note, we can put on the scale, and you'll see other keys are not lit up anymore and certain keys are lit up in different colors, so that way you know which scale you're in. And they won't let you play an incorrect key for that scale. You also have your ARP mode, which is up here. The button says ARP lit up, so that way you know you're in ARP mode. So without ARP, you play 3 keys and they come on together. In ARP mode, they'll swap and move around. Really cool to use and really fun when you're trying to search for some different type of ideas for your track. Next buttons you have here are undo, quantize, and auto. So that way you can quantize the beats that you have there. You can undo or redo the last step that you guys done in your pattern or in your scene. And you have an auto button as well. You have a mute and solo button, so that way when you're in mixer mode, you guys can very easily toggle between mute and solo of your different mixer tracks. Next up, you have your presets, which are different presets within your different sounds that you have available. Right now we're in the contact player mode, and what we're going to do is just change some of the parameters of the sound using the different knobs that you guys see here underneath their corresponding sound type or your corresponding variable that you wish to change. Really cool to have all of these sounds and all these adjustments right here at your fingertips, so that way you can easily change the sounds on the fly. Next up, you have your loop, metronome, tempo, play, pause, record, and stop. These are used when you're using this with the DAW of your choice, so that way you don't have to go back and forth between your real computer keyboard and mouse, and you'll be able to make all of your different changes within your different DAW here or within Maschine as well. Next up, you have your touch sensitive knobs. So these are touch sensitive, so sometimes when you have a certain parameter set above the button, when you touch it, it will instantly turn something on or off or bring up another menu, so that way you can make your different adjustments. Next up, you have these buttons here at the top. They'll correspond to different things that you have on your screens, so that way you can press them and enter different menus and into different parameters as well. Next up, you have your browser area, and this will allow you to browse between all of the different sounds that you guys have available within the Komplete Control package. And you can also get a preview mode, so that way when you're cycling through all of your sounds, instead of loading each individual machine or each individual plugin or instrument into the setup, all you have to do is scroll past it within the browser and you'll get a quick preview of the song or the sound. This is very, very useful, so that way you can only pre-hear the sounds and you don't have to actually load every single one into your computer, which takes valuable time in order to find the correct sound that you need at the time. You also have plugin mode, so that way you can go back to your plugin mode and see your plugin, all of your parameters, change all of the different parameters that you guys see here for the different plugin that you're using. And you also have an instance button here, a MIDI button, so that way you can change back to MIDI mode. And then you have a mixer button, so that way you can see where you're at in the mix when we have this connected to Maschine. Okay, next up you guys will see the mod and pitch wheels. They eliminated the original touch strips for your mod and wheel because for performers, I feel like they really wanted a nice analog feel to a mod or a pitch wheel. These feel like they would on any real high dollar or expensive keyboard. They're nice and rubberized to them, have a nice spring action in the pitch wheel. The mod wheel is nice and weighted. So it just feels really good to use, really easy and familiar to use for those who are professional keyboarders. Up here we have your fixed velocity mode button. So that way you can take off your fixed velocity, meaning if you want this to actually act the same way every time, you put on fixed velocity. But if you want this to be touch sensitive, you turn off fixed velocity. Next up you have your octave mode. This allows you to go up and down the keyboard range, so that way you can go up and down and have more keys here than which is actually present on the actual keyboard itself. Also new to the Komplete keyboard range and the Maschine MK3 is this new browse knob. The browse knob is not just a encoder that you can push and turn and flip through all of your sounds. It also can go to the right or to the left or up and down. So it's a real easy way to navigate through. It's almost like a joystick for a video game. So that way you can easily go through all of your parameters instead of having back buttons and forward buttons. The actual knob itself goes backwards, forwards, up, down. It twists, and it also lets you load or select. Alright, so after this is connected to a DAW or to machine, I can easily come in here and see my different scenes. I can also go in here and see my different patterns. We can also check the tracks, and we can also go to mixer mode, so that way we can see the volumes of all of our different groups and sounds. And it's really cool to be able to use this alongside machine as well, and you have different things displayed on your two different screens. Your screens for your keyboard will show one thing, and you can have the screens from your machine showing something totally different, and you can mix and match the different screens that are playing at the same time. So you really get a nice experience right here on your screens instead of having to search for the laptop monitor or the monitor. You're right here in your work area at all times. Not only that, you can come in here and you can make all of your edits as well. You can hold down the mute button. All of your top buttons will light up and you can mute any one of these sections that you want, or you can also hold your solo button and make any one of those solo. Very easy to use when you're in mixer mode or when you're in your scenes or patterns to make changes. So in conclusion, the brand new Native Instruments Komplete Kontrol MK2 keyboards are a nice addition and upgrade to the originals. It has these gorgeous two high resolution color screens, so that way you can navigate through all of your sounds very easily. You can navigate through your DAW, and you can also use this with machine in order to do your mixing and all of your different functions right from the screens themselves. It also has very great build quality. It really feels solid. Even though it's made of all plastic body, it still feels really weighted and really nice, and that is going to last you for a long time to come. It also has these really good feeling keys, and it has nice semi-weighted to them. They have nice velocity sensitivity to them, and they just feel great when you're playing on them as well. It also still has that nice light guide system, so it can show you how to play the different chords. It also shows you what different keys you're in and what the different keys represent when you're using different styles of instruments within Komplete or the machine range of expansions. The Komplete Kontrol is also now fully USB powered. You can plug in your own power source to take it with you if you want to, but it does and works just fine with just the USB power alone. It also brings back those touch sensitive knobs, so that way you can control different functions and parameters right within the software right here on the face of the keyboard using those screens. On the downside, the Komplete Kontrol does not work as a standalone unit, and it does not have its own independent sound card, so you have to use this with a different sound card. We've been using it here with the machine, but we can also use this with any other sound card that you may have that's USB powered, that plugs into your computer, of course. But it would have been nice to have a nice sound card right here on the back of the unit itself. It's only a minor gripe here because most people in studios like to use their own sound cards anyway, and this is not an on-the-go, all-in-one unit, so it's not like you're going to take this with you anywhere without your computer as it is. So for more on the review summary, you guys can click on the link at the top of this video description, or you can go to www.djbooth.net/DJS. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up if you like this video. Make sure you guys subscribe so that way you know exactly when more videos like this are coming out. And as always, thanks for watching.